Well, it looks as if it's a bit lonesome here. Hopefully some of you guys will come on and we'll get the chat going. ModVegan's supposed to be coming on, so. Hi, Fudge. Fudge is watching. Fudge is watching. So how is everybody? Everybody having a good day? Hopefully. It's pouring the rain down here in Scotland as always. Number 3 on YouTube, that's a first. Don't know if MD's on or what, but so same, it's a bit difficult at this time of day. It's kind of hard to try and get people to come on and things like that as well, but just got to try your luck and see if hopefully people catch on at this time of day. But oh, hi Chef Vegan, Tina Knox. As my chat just come up, I've been sitting here talking away and my chat hasn't been coming up. I'm sorry about this, guys. I'll try and guest you in, ModVegan, if you want to guest in just now. Try and put you on. Hopefully it works this time. Hi there. Hi there.
Let me see if this works. Unfortunately, I was trying to do it with my computer, and I guess it doesn't support Safari, so I can't use.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
trying to chat away there, but my chat wasn't coming up for some reason. And I think it's Younow. It's been playing up quite a bit.
Yeah, I saw your picture, but yeah, you weren't talking yet for a minute.
No, I was totally away with it. Just to let everybody know, this is ModVegan. Please check out her channel. She does a lot of veganism, animal rights, minimalism, futurism, technology, and things like that. So I'll link your channel as well.
Oh, thank you. I've just loved your channel. I think what you're doing is so amazing, and it's
Oh,
so
thanks very much.
people.
I'm not as good as your channel, but I try my best.
Well, I disagree, but no, I love what you're doing, and it's so important, and especially in the vegan community, because eating disorders, we get so many people that are attracted to veganism to lose weight. I think
That's exactly what I was going to say. A lot of people do use it for a mask for their eating disorders, but I don't feel that everybody does that. But it does get that kind of stigma because of that, because they feel it's restrictive. But like you were saying to me, basically, you were worried about obviously whole foods and diets, things like that, whereas you just practice food in moderation, exactly like I do.
Yeah, exactly. And I've had some people comment that, I should eat more whole foods and things like that. But I do think if you come from a background of restriction, it's really better to just go with moderation. And, you can be a vegan and just live and eat like normal people. And I think if you do come from that background, that's the best way to go.
And I've had a lot of people emailing me saying that they were trying to go vegan and eating disorder recovery, but I've always told them to make sure they're in a good place mentally and physically, because you've got to be doing it for the right reasons, because a lot of them feel that they want to do it because they feel that they can go to Lotto 4 to restrict and things like that. Yeah. And they were saying to me basically they were worried about eating things like fats and proteins and things. So I told them if they were going to go vegan, to make sure they were getting the same amount of calories that they were in their standard American diet, because if you're going to become to it to restrict, you're just going to be in that eating disordered mindset.
Yeah. No, it's definitely, it's an issue for sure. Oh, I have to ask you, are you going to be watching the big game this weekend?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
My husband said I had to ask you because I guess it's been
Actually,
4 years.
that's right. 4 years it's been. Oh, it'll be. I hope there's not a lot of trouble. That's the only thing I'm worried about.
Yeah, that can always be a problem. Hopefully, it'll just be a good game and a chance for everybody
Well,
to.
hopefully, but it's Scotland, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you guys do have a bad reputation for that. So, if nobody knows what we're talking about, it's the Celtics and the Rangers. They're having their worst football game in 4 years.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
The ticket prices were astronomical as well, which was really surprising.
Oh, yeah, that is. But I guess again, 4 years of people waiting to come and see them. So,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, yeah.
I was also going to ask as well, what about do you think about the kind of body image issues they have in like the vegan community, like people that freely and all that with the slim body and all this? What's your kind of opinions on that?
I find it a distraction from what veganism should be personally. I understand that people want to be healthy and fit, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I do think that Freely is definitely she's catering to a certain demographic that is just interested in appearance, and I'm not interested in that personally. I mean, I think we should all try to be fit and healthy, but it is to me it's a community of very body obsessed people, and I'd like to
Yeah,
see us moving away from that. That's why I love your channel so much, because
oh, that really means a lot.
it's so positive and such a good thing, and I really hope we see more of that.
Well, that's what I hope we're actually building in the vegan community because I feel it's getting a lot better recently. We're kind of getting out all this drama and things like that, which is really a
Yes.
good positive thing because it's so destructive, and I just feel that that's why a lot of people are not coming to the vegan lifestyle because they see this going on, and hopefully, if we can put out a good positive message, it's going to attract more people in.
Yeah, I was reading that actually there's so 2% of the overall population is vegan, but there's another 10% that are former vegans. And that's the biggest problem. A lot of people go vegan and they quit because of whether it's the drama or they're disappointed because they don't look like Freely, things like
That's
that.
it.
It really does limit the vegan community, because if we get one new vegan and then an old vegan leaves, we have no new vegans really. So,
Well, that's even what I tell people. There's been people asking me, they're saying that they want to go vegan, but they feel that they can't give up meat and things like that. Like I told them, I even recommend that. I says if you can even go a 1 or 2 days a week to start with, try to go those vegan days. Every little helps until you can actually fully transition. But you just do your best as you best possibly can.
yeah, I do agree. I do agree. And I disagree with the people that say that you can't, that, reducitarianism doesn't work. Like I've noticed with my husband, he started out, just eating vegan at home, and he didn't even know if he was going to go vegan, and now he has. So it's really nice to see. And I think sometimes people just they need time. Not everyone's going to go vegan overnight.
That's it. I honestly don't think we'll see a vegan world in our lifetime, being honest, but I feel that it'll be a majority at least, hopefully, in the next maybe 10 to 20 years, but I don't see it ever because there's all these companies plowing money into it for obviously the dairy and the meat industry and things like that, and they're backing up all these science things and that, and
Yes.
I feel that's why they're getting all the kind of publicity and things, but hopefully we our small voice on YouTube, hopefully we can maybe make a difference, but who knows?
Yeah. No. Well, I hope that we will make a difference. Like I think we are already. It's um it's going to take time, but I know, like what you say, my video on Saturday is going to be about this new bill in Canada for animal rights. We haven't had an animal
Right,
rights bill in
yeah.
125 years. So,
As long as that.
yeah, and even we have a liberal government right now with Justin Trudeau, but his government's opposing the bill, and it's basically just limiting imports of shark fins, and making very basic laws about abject cruelty to animals. And even then, his government's opposed to it because they are being supported by hunters and farmers and that kind of stuff.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Glowfish is saying there you are making a difference. She says you're even if you turn one person vegan, you're making a difference, which is right.
Yes. And I think by supporting each other, that's also really important, because the worst thing is feeling isolated. And that's what happens to a lot of vegans.
That's it. I
Yeah.
was one thing I was going to ask you as well. What's your kind of opinion on things like the slaughterhouse videos and that? I basically feel it actually turns a lot of people off because I feel they want to see more of a lifestyle, like you posting up things like your lifestyle, how like food recipes and how your health's been helped with that. How do
Yeah.
you feel about it?
Personally, I have seen people who do it well. I think that Bite Size Vegan, for example, she does a good
Yeah,
job of it, and it
great. Yeah,
for her it's justified because it's actually education. I don't
yeah.
mind that. I personally, oh yeah, Jordan is saying that slaughterhouse footage is what drove him to become vegan. I totally see
Me
that.
as well.
Yeah, and Glowfish is saying the same thing. I think it's very helpful if it's done properly and people who know how to do that properly. For me, if I did it, it would not be
No,
useful. I'm here more to support people who are already vegan or contributing in a different way. So I
yeah,
don't think it's something that I definitely don't think every vegan needs to put slaughterhouse footage in their videos because then
no,
it gets overwhelming. You want to. I'd rather direct people to someone like Bite Size Vegan and leave that to people like her, and I can do my thing. So I don't think we all need to use slaughterhouse footage at all.
the one that actually turned me vegan was the vegan activist. I don't know if you've ever seen him. He does a lot of, but he's really good at that type of thing.
Yes. And I saw Gary Yurovsky, and I think actually, I'm trying to remember in the speech, I suppose he does use some slaughterhouse footage, but he really doesn't use that much. It's more talking about it. So, yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, and you're right. The vegan activist, I've seen a few of his videos, and yeah, he does a good job of that as well.
and
So,
obviously the vegan geezer, he does a lot of speeches, and he's really good. I've really
yeah.
followed a lot of him.
Yes. I know. Isn't it disturbing sometimes to hear someone who's our age calling himself a geezer?
I know.
I guess on YouTube we are geezers, so
But
yeah, but he's great. I love the vegan geezer, like, and especially because he's got kids, and I do too. So it's
all
nice
that,
to see
yeah,
a
that,
parent
that
feeding their kids vegan
that
food.
was
It's
another
really
thing I was going to ask you. A lot of people have got this kind of thing that they say you shouldn't bring up your child vegan and things like that. And I know obviously you being a mother yourself, what's kind of your opinion on that? Do you feel this is a good thing, or do you feel you should let them make their own choices and just kind of try and educate them best you can on that?
I think probably a little bit of both. At home, we have vegan food entirely, and that's what they eat at home. Thank Tim Gersh. And so that's what we eat at home. But when it comes to if they're at a party or something like that, that's their decision. Although I've
Yeah,
noticed that usually my older daughter does choose to either eat vegetarian or vegan when she's out. So I'm not, and I do know that some parents really do try to control that outside the home. I would rather let that be my children's choice. Because, like you say, we don't live in a vegan world, and I think that
that's it.
if
Yeah.
if you give your children freedom in other areas of their lives, like I don't tell my children what to believe about anything really, so I want them to
No,
have that freedom when
that's
it
the way
comes to food.
my mum and dad brought me up. They says we'll teach you things and you do what you enjoy it and you do what you go to, what you respect. He says we'll further respect. So I was brought even things like religion and all kinds of things. They let me find my own way in there if that's what they told me. So I thoroughly agree with that.
Yeah, and of course, when you are at home and feeding your children, it's so easy. I don't understand what all these articles are about why it's so difficult to maintain a vegan diet healthily is crazy. I mean, because you do notice people eating a standard. Like I remember when I was in high school in Scotland, I stayed there for a few weeks and it was so much fun. I loved it. But you don't get a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables in the year. So even if you're eating a
No,
standard diet, you need to probably be taking vitamin C or whatever. So everybody needs to supplement a bit there.
one thing I have found about in Scotland, we are getting a lot better for vegan things. There's a lot of restaurants popping up recently, and you're seeing a lot of products coming in. Even the supermarkets are beginning to dedicate certain aisles to all vegan foods. So there seems to be a kind of movement and things. So I'm thinking that they're maybe seeing that there's a trend changing. So hopefully it keeps going that way.
That is really good. And I've noticed also it's interesting places like Scotland, England, Germany, places that actually have very poor food traditions in terms of health seem to be really embracing veganism. And maybe that is just the healthy aspect of it. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Glowfish is asking there, a concern for her would be building immunological tolerance to animal products and the microbiota associated with that.
I
But
can you elaborate on that, Glowfish? Because I saw that question as well, but I have to say I'm not familiar with that being an issue.
No.
I've never heard of that before, so forgive me, Glowfish. I don't know what that is. Yeah, I yeah. I don't know. Like you would become resistant to animal products if you were vegan. I don't quite get it,
I
but
think that's my kind of interpretation of that. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So I'm sure if I accidentally eat dairy or something, I did discover after I went vegan that I had been probably allergic to dairy my whole life and not known about it.
a
Oh,
lot of people.
isolating your children from animal products. Oh, I see what he means about immunity and things like that. I
Right.
suppose, yeah, I mean, the thing is, in our world, definitely children are probably going to be exposed to a bit of dairy here and there anyway. Like, even if you're eating entirely vegan products, like I don't worry about, when they have those messages that it may be produced in a factory that contains.
Yeah,
I don't worry about that because I know I'm not contributing to the dairy industry, but it may be tainted with dairy. So I think kids are probably getting exposed to that anyway, unless you fed them solely whole foods. And even then, I'm a bit skeptical about some of that stuff because I would say Glowfish, it's not a firm thing that exposure actually prevents allergies. My daughter has a peanut allergy. I ate peanuts the whole time I was pregnant. She was breastfed and
yeah,
she still is allergic to peanuts. She tried them when she was younger. She still is allergic. So there's some debate in the medical community over whether exposure creates immunity to food allergies and things like that. Yeah.
that's yeah. Totally agree with that. One thing I've found that I don't know if you found that, but since I've went vegan, even when I walk past a butcher shop, I actually feel that I can actually smell the meat now. And it actually,
Yes.
I said to my wife, it actually turns me off. I says it makes me kind of feel actually sick at times. And my wife was totally amazed. She says, "Can you actually smell it?" And I says, "For some reason I can." I says, I don't know if it's like that with everybody, but
It changes you. I didn't expect to be someone like that because I'm not a very queasy person. I have a pretty strong stomach.
not. I'm the
And I
same.
mean, you worked in an abattoir, didn't you?
That's
Yeah,
correct.
so
Yeah.
you're not a queasy person, but it still is true. We have a shop here when I go running that's on my running path,
Right.
and it's a restaurant, and they cure their own meat, and so they're always curing it. And before I never smelled it at all, and now every time I run past that place, I want to hold my breath. It's horrible. It just smells like rotting flesh to me. I can smell the
That's it.
sweetness of that. Oh, yeah,
Oh, the
it
things
changes you.
the things I saw in the abattoir were unbelievable. I mean, the way they shouted at the animals, kicked them, and they were calling them all names, even playing with their body parts and all kinds of things. It was, but actually, I haven't touched upon this, but a lot of the people that were actually doing the killing side of it, they were really into drugs and they were getting in there actually drugged up to the eyeballs. But I actually feel, were they doing that because of the job they were doing to make them?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was.
Well, in almost every country too, people who work in abattoirs, like it's a job you do because you have to. It's not something people want to be doing.
Yeah,
And
that was
so I
exactly
think
it.
people forget sometimes it's not like slaughterhouse workers are evil or anything. It's just that you're being, imagine if you're exposed, like if you're exposed to that all day, every day, that environment, it makes you have to harden yourself. It makes you, I'm sure you probably are mad that that's the job you have to do anyway. Like it's just not a
Oh yeah.
pleasant
The
environment.
worst thing I ever saw was the one of the carcasses that was going through the production line, and it actually they didn't realise it had fetuses in it, and the baby fetuses were lying out at the side, and it was that just absolutely disgusted me. It was
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I've heard about that happening. I never have met anyone who actually experienced that, but yeah. Oh, that's
no,
so sad.
it's a tragic thing to see, and it's
Yeah.
not much you can do about it. You've just got to try and kind of put out the message of the kind of cruelty that goes on, but like I say, it does turn off a lot of people, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I hope that the demand for meat in the UK goes down because I have to say even when I was there, I wondered how they managed to I'm sure you must have to do some import because oh yeah, working in biomedical science what Glowfish is saying, yeah. I always wondered how you guys managed to supply your meat supply because there's so many people eating so much meat. I don't know.
That's
There
it.
must be abattoirs everywhere.
Well, actually, what I was going to say to you there, if you remember back a good few years in 1997, they had the beef scare and things like that. Actually, at
That's
that
what I
point,
was there in 1997. Actually, I
yeah,
was a
well,
junior in high school. well.
at
So,
that point they actually started importing buffalo in.
oh really?
So
Wow.
they were getting buffalo in, obviously because they couldn't sell like cow meat and things like that. So that's what they were doing, which was
Yeah.
totally unbelievable. I just couldn't believe it. But that's how they got around that.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Glowfish, by the way. Yeah. I know here in Alberta, because I live in the other place where mad cow was discovered. So right now I'm living
Yeah.
in Alberta, and we still have a lot of challenges with some of those things. We had a bit of a scare just a few years ago with mad cow again, and it's all using dairy cows that have been, because of their age and everything. We still
Yeah.
use dairy cows. They're a little bit older, and they also use them for hamburger. So it's really dangerous because they can use they're not supposed to use anything related to the spinal column, but it's very difficult. I'm sure you noticed that in the abattoir.
Uh-huh.
Making sure that that meat isn't touching the other meat is almost impossible. So yeah, one more reason to avoid beef.
Well, that's it. A person actually said to me the other day she was vegetarian. She says to me, "But do you not think if animals are reared in a good way, like farmers actually look after them, like they're properly looked after and things like that, is it not ethical enough to be having eggs and things like that from that?" But I don't know if that, I don't know your kind of opinion on that. I mean, I just feel that it's not ethical in any way, but
Yeah, personally, I really want to see us stop exploiting animals for any reason because we don't really need to. Like, we know it's not good for our health. So
that's
there's
what
really
I
no reason
said
to be
as
doing
well.
that. And so, yeah, I am I am against it, even if the animal's treated well, because there's certain exceptions. Like someone was commenting on my page the other day about anti-venom. So, when you get bit by a cobra or something, that's
Yeah.
something, unfortunately, we don't have an alternative. We have no way to make that in a lab yet. I think we will eventually, but I understand that it is animal exploitation. You can do something like that. Yeah, human disease and animal products. Yeah, it's very important, I think, to continue doing those things. I wouldn't be against that because it's practicable and possible. And,
Yeah.
I think we should treat those animals as well as we possibly can. But as far as eggs and milk and stuff, we don't need it. So, yeah.
No, I'm really liking the idea of the super meat, but I don't feel it's obviously good for us for vegans. But I feel that it's going to help a lot of people that obviously can't obviously give up meat and things like that. But it's looking
Yeah.
good. But whether it ever comes to fruition, that's the only thing. I just don't feel it's like these startup companies. You never actually know if it's actually going to become anything. What's your kind of
Yeah.
opinions on it?
I'm not sure about that company in particular. I do know that there is a company in the States, Memphis Meats,
Right?
that
Yeah.
already is. My son there for a second. Memphis Meats has been successful, so they are beef, and not for commercial production yet, but they have enough that it will be successful. I think it's good for pet food in particular, people with allergies like that.
Kylie's saying she became a fan as well. The screen froze, I think. I think the screen's froze for some reason.
I missed the last part. I'm afraid.
I think the
Yeah, I'm just
screen
gonna come
seems to have
back and see if
froze.
it's better.
Is that it now? Screen seems to.
Let me try leaving and coming.
I think,
Or
I think the
is it
screen's froze.
any better? Yeah, I'm gonna try. Okay, well, Glowfish says it's not frozen for he or she.
Seems to have frozen in my end. I don't know why. No, that's cutting out for some reason.
Yeah, I can't hear you for some reason. Let me see.
I'll try you again and see if it works it back in again. No, I don't know what's happened there, guys. This seems to have totally stopped for some reason. I think it's you now playing up again. invited you back in, ModVegan, so hopefully it kind of works this time. It's Younow playing up. It happened the other night when I was on with Jessica Julia as well.
You can see me. Ugh.
Is that it working now?
I think we're having a bit of problem with the
No, same again.
transmission or something. Unfortunately, I can't hear you, but I think we'll do this again sometimes.
It's been lovely. It's been lovely speaking to you, ModVegan. It really, really has. And please, everybody,
yes,
go
I had such a great time.
check out our channel as well. I'll link it here again.
I'll talk. Oh, thank you so much. All the very best.
We'll speak again. Thanks very much. So, guys, sorry.
Great. Thank you. No, for some reason I'm just having some issues now, but yeah.
Thanks very much, ModVegan. I'll speak
I'll talk
to you soon.
Tommy. Have a good evening.
So, guys, thanks very much for that. It's the typical Younow playing up and things like that, and as usual. But I hope you all liked this stream, and if you would like to come on any other time, please let me know and we'll chat away. I'll be back on probably Sunday round about 1 p.m. So thanks very much for checking in on ModVegan, and we'll be doing it again as well. Just go in, I say, check out our channel. I'll link it here for everybody again as well, just so you all know. Like I say, please go and check out our channel. She's an absolutely inspirational person. She's the kind of person we need in the community. She's spreading a good positive message, the diversity and respect for everybody. That's what it's all about. Thanks for all coming on, guys, and I really, really appreciate it. And thanks for your support for ModVegan. She's a lovely person, like I say. Remember, binge on life, purge negativity, and starve guilty feelings, and I'll speak to you all again soon.